I am so happy to be here. I just have a couple of short questions. One is I'm a coach, and my life is really wonderful. I have learned how to deliberately use the law of attraction and create a wonderful, passionate relationship and abundance, and I'm really doing well. But now and then, I have someone that comes to me for my services to help them, and they don't know what their passion is. They really have a hard time knowing what their passion is. And I've never had a problem like that before. I mean, I have so many passions that I'm delighted to know that I'm eternal, and I'll have a lot of time to explore them and enjoy them. But I look at some people, and I'll ask them, because I try to explain to them that the closest way to joy is appreciation and exploring their passions and allowing themselves to enjoy themselves. And a lot of people will just look at me with this blank look on their face that they're like, I don't know, because they've spent so much of their life serving others rather than taking care of themselves. And what's the shortest path to helping people find their passion?
Well, there's two things we want to say to you. First is that it's logical that it's hard for you to answer that question, because the next logical step for you keeps being something that is more passion. In other words, because you hover around, you're either in the vortex or on the verge of it, so it's easy for the vortex to bring you in, and for you to then become a cooperative component to the vortex, and then something that is at the level of passion to occur to you. So it's just not a big step for you, where somebody who's hanging around nowhere near the edge of the vortex can't feel that. And so for them, passion is too long of a leap. We said to a woman one day who was sort of in the same place, we were trying to get her to talk about what she wanted, and she just couldn't come up with anything. So we started naming a few things, and she said, oh, I don't want that. I've already got that. And then we realized that she was relating desire with that yearning feeling of not having it. That's sometimes people are kind of confused about that. But here we think is the quick answer, and maybe the shortcut for some of these people to discover what their passion is. You're going to like this. So you get it that every subject is really two subjects, what is wanted and lack of it. And so isn't it logical that if someone really doesn't know what their passion is, that they must be vibrating pretty far on the other end of the stick? And didn't we discover something didn't we articulate something really well today about how the specifics often are keeping you from being able to find the specifics on the other end, but being general might be a good way to get there. So when you ask a person what they want and they don't know, ask them if they're sure of what they don't want, because they are. And then say, well, let's just talk about that for this reason. Mm-hmm. When you poke around at a problem, the solution comes into greater clarity. So as you counsel them or coach them a little bit, sometimes by poking around at what they don't want, then there'll be this bounce that you can actually witness happen, that you can then jump on and ride together just like their inner being does. So if you can get them talking about what they know they don't want. So can you think of anyone in particular that you've been counseling that you know enough about? Mm-hmm. So bring one to mind and ask yourself the question of them, well, what is it you don't want? What are they saying to you?
They don't want to feel bad about their physical body. They don't want to feel bad about their relationship with their child, because they feel a great distance because they're always trying to control that person in their life.
All right, so pick one of those and let's go with
not feeling a distance and tension with their teenage daughter.
All right, so they know what they don't want. They don't want to be distant from their teenage daughter. Mm-hmm. So you just discovered a passion, didn't you? You just discovered it, but they can't see it because they're all balled up over there. So now you know where you're going, at least. In other words, you know what they really want. That's the thing they want the most. But their vibration is practiced in a whole other place. So now your work is cut out for you. Now you want to stand in their vortex and call them over. Now, from the discussion that we've had here today, do you think that you would be more likely to be able to call them over by pointing out all the wonderful things about their teenager? Or have you noticed that when you try that, they just tell you how rotten the teenager really is?
I've actually done that with her and had her list the positive aspects of her daughter so that she's focusing more on that and allowing herself to kind of let go of the control and enjoy her daughter more.
How did
I think it's worked well, but I think when I'm talking about passion is I'm talking about helping my clients to get into a place of being happy regardless of what other people are doing. Because her connection with her daughter, it's as she said to me, when my daughter goes away to college, I'm going to be so lost because I put everything into focusing on her and everything into focusing on my husband.
So let's take that subject. So I know what I don't want. I don't want to be lost when my daughter goes to college. So what is it that she does want?
That's where she's lost.
Well, here's the thing. She has
no passion.
But the only reason she's lost, we want you to stop saying that.
Okay.
because she's not lost. She's just the specifics of what she doesn't want are so active within her that even though she's put all kinds of specifics of what she does want in her vortex, she can't find them because what's specific and active and out of the vortex is running the show. So as you lead her into more general awareness of feeling good, she'll find it. Maybe what's going wrong here is that you want a shortcut and there isn't one.
Maybe.
That what you really want to do is to help them find it. So if you were to say to her something like, well, I've known a lot of people that felt that way and they find their way right away. Now, she might hear you and believe you, or she might resist the idea. And she might say, well, I don't know. You don't know how much time I spend. And then you want to say, well, let's not talk about that so much, because that's what's got you all balled up. As you keep talking about what you don't want, you're not able to see any clear space toward what you do want. And I've noticed, and then just that it always works out, and that you will find a way. And you see what we're getting at? Mm-hmm. The key for you is to help them be more general, but before you can help them get more general, you have to do it yourself. So she says, I'm going to be lost when my daughter goes to school. And you say, with a goal of getting general, what would you say?
Well, what do you enjoy on your own now to experience? What do you feel good about now in your life?
Well, and then she would say, well, nothing, because I don't have a lot of time for myself. I'm putting all my time into that. And now what you're really uncovering is some resentment that I'm putting so much into somebody that's not going to hang around. When I should be building my own life, but I'm not building my own life. Another thing more specific, which has launched another thing into the vortex that she can't find either, but you can see it. So now your next question is, well, what would you be doing today if you didn't have to put so much into the details of your daughter's life? And she would say, well, I can't even think about that because I'm all balled up in that. In other words, you're just sort of caught in this endless spiral where no matter what you say, she has another justification or reason that she can't go there. And so you listen for it for a little while, and then you go general. You go general because you've discovered going specific isn't moving her energy at all. So you go general and you say, I think that you are launching all kinds of things, even though you don't have time for them. I think you're putting them out there. And when you do have time, I think you'll find them. And I just don't think that you need to worry about finding them before you have time to find them anyway. If you can't find time to even think about them now, then now's not the time. So maybe you're getting your cart before your horse and you're worrying about stuff that you don't even have to worry about. And meanwhile, as you appreciate all the things that you get to do with your daughter and you get that appreciation vibration going, I promise you can say, and you'll be right, there'll be all kinds of new things that will fill in for you to appreciate. You're not going to miss a beat at all. I can feel it from you. I can feel the power and the clarity of that which you are. It's going to be all right. You're being general. It's going to be all right. You're going to figure it out, and you don't have to figure it out now. And she'll feel better. She'll feel better now, you see. Now, as you keep, how often do you have a conversation with a person like this?
Once a week.
That's wonderful. So next time you get into the conversation, she's in a slightly different place because you've moved her with your general statement just a little bit. And so now she still has the issue, but it's not as strong as it was before. And again, you go general. You go general. Doesn't solve anything, but she feels better. She feels better. And what she will begin to reporting back to you is things in her relationship with her daughter are already beginning to improve. Just because you're helping her find this softer place of more alignment, even if you're not calling it specifically that, you see. Until eventually, and not very far, we're talking about 4 or 5 weeks of a conversation of 30 or 40 minutes, you've brought her into enough general feeling of well-being that now here's a really interesting thing as a counselor. What happens to you is that as you're counseling someone, we're wrapping this up, as you're counseling someone and they're all in this specific place of knowing what they don't want, what they do want isn't lighting up for you either. That's why you don't know what to say to her. But in your effort to stay general with her in order to make her feel better, you're going to stay in the vortex. And as you stay in the vortex, you're going to have all kinds of clarity that's going to be revealed to you. So the timing of what you say is going to be particularly good, you see. So over this process of 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, she's going to get feeling better and better and better. And she's going to, in the same way that you got into the vortex and it started lighting up for you, but when you speak it, she can't hear it and actually resists it. Any of you who have been counselors know how that works. You get real clear on something. You can see so clearly right where something is going for someone. You even get a sense of how they will spend a good deal of their time after their children all leave the nest, but you can't speak it to them because they can't hear it, but you saw it because you're in the vortex. So now your goal is to get them in the vortex where they can see it. And if you keep staying general, they'll come into the vortex and they'll come into the vortex and they'll come into the vortex. And one day you and they will be, so to speak, vibrationally speaking, in the vortex when an idea will reveal itself to them and you'll be there to witness it happening. And you'll know the validity of all of this because you saw that idea 6 weeks ago. You just didn't speak it to them because you knew it would blow her out of the vortex. Is that making sense?